be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress, and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery.
On some level, we do what we want to do 24 hours a day. Now, sometimes it may not seem like that, but if I'm choosing to work instead of sleep, what I'm actually saying is keeping my job is more important than sleeping.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting beat. What can I do to get over this hump? So mentally, that's when I kind of put that forefront, like, hey, it's either all or nothing.
I like to put failure in quotations because I don't believe that failure is true failure if you're looking at it with the right mindset.
The truth is, the journey to greatness is hard. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, and every day you have to decide what you value, what you want to pursue, and what you want to achieve. And if you dig deep enough, if you push hard enough, we all have what it takes to be great. Welcome to the Edge of Greatness. Hello and welcome back to the Daily Dose. It is Friday, January 20th, and that means it's quote day. And today's quote is this one. We're going to build off of yesterday's conversation. You ready? If you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. Bruce Lee. And I think that this one feeds very well into what I was talking about yesterday, is there are no limits. You are capable of anything. And even if you're not ready for something that's being asked of you and you feel afraid to attack it and you're not sure if you'll succeed, there's no limit. You might fail. You might not do well. It comes down to, in my opinion, your confidence in yourself, your belief in yourself. When we tell ourselves we're not capable, our mind listens, and then we become incapable. I'm going to tell you a little story about when I was coaching at Pickerington Central High School for softball, about the power of the mind and how, in this situation, the mind was telling my athlete that they're not good, and it was affecting their ability to perform. So we were taking batting practice. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the sport of softball or baseball, batting practice is we're just working on our hitting. In a practice setting, I'm usually tossing the ball straight at people with minimal velocity. But in this situation, she's hitting, and she's not hitting very well, and she's getting frustrated, and she's upset, and I hear her rumble, "I can't hit." And so as I'm watching, I'm paying attention to what's going on, and I see this frustration start to build. And ultimately, a little backstory for you, she's probably one of our most consistent hitters. She's a very good hitter. She's actually a collegiate player now, so she's clearly a not bad hitter, as she was saying, or that she couldn't hit. But her mind was stopping her from performing, and her frustration was creating problems. So I stopped batting practice for a second, and for those of you who have ever seen the movie Tin Cup, this is going to sound very familiar to you. I go up to her, and I always wear a bucket hat when I coach. I like to protect my pale pasty skin from the sun, so I have her take off one batting glove. I have her double knot one shoe. I have her stick one of her back pockets out. She has to wear my bucket hat and my sunglasses and bat left-handed. So she has to go and do all this goofy stuff and flip over to the other side of the plate. She does it because she trusts me. Reluctantly, she's like, this is the goofiest thing I've ever done in my life. And so what happens is she takes a few left-handed swings. She makes contact. Obviously, it's not her strong side, so there's nothing great about the swings. But after 5 or 6 swings, I see she's starting to have a little fun. She's smiling. She's laughing. She thinks it's goofy. So I flip her back over to the other side. she's still wearing all the goofy stuff. And so I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's hit. And I start throwing her balls. And she starts smashing over the left center field fence, over the left field fence, off the left field wall, off the center field fence. And I stop and I look at her and I go, well, what happened? What changed? And so she stops and she's looking around. She's like, I don't know. I can't figure it out. And I'm like, well, first off, you stopped thinking about how you can't hit and you just started to focus on hitting. You're just thinking about how goofy you look. You're having a little bit of fun. You're relaxed. You're not stressed. You're not overthinking it. And you're not telling yourself you can't. The mind has an amazing ability to dictate how we perform. If you think you're capable in a situation where you might not be, you give yourself an advantage and a chance at finding success. If you think you can't before you even start, well, you've already lost. Control your mind. Build confidence in yourself and who you are. Believe that no matter what the situation, you will succeed. Even if you lose in this particular moment, you are capable of figuring it out and finding a way through. That's the plateau. You're not always going to progress. You're not always going to win. You're not always going to be on top. But you can always take another step forward. You can always find another path. And you can always get a little bit better. That is how learning to believe in yourself and to have self-confidence to the point where no matter an outcome, you're still capable and good enough will serve you in the long term. The idea behind all this is that there's not always going to be success in your life. You're not always going to find happy feelings and joy in everything you do. But if your mind starts to tell you negative things, it's only going to make those situations worse. It's only going to make those things harder. Master your mind. Find a way to have your mind tell you what you can do. What's possible. Start to believe in every potential situation that you can succeed. And over time, that's how it's going to be. That's what you're going to become. And that's where I was talking about the other day, that I believe every time I step into some situation that I can figure it out, that I will succeed. No matter how difficult, no matter how bad the odds are, and no matter how many times I don't do well, I still believe eventually I can figure it out and that I can succeed and that I can keep it moving forward. So I hope that story helps. It's one of my favorites. I mean, the kid is an amazing kid, and it was a special moment for me with her in that situation, and I think she still remembers that to this day. And thankful for Tin Cup to give me the inspiration to steal some ideas from him. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you have a moment, swing over by the website. We got some really cool stuff going on over there. The newsletter, the blog, the sale on the books, and all the different things that we have happening. It's the edgeofgreatnessproject.com. Love to see you over there. And until next time, guys, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face, but remember, whenever we fall, always get up. Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. If you haven't yet, please take a minute now to subscribe and review our show. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But remember, no matter what happens, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.